please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Change chairs.
I'm good. I switched that chair a couple digits once ago. That's all right.
Alderman Dean.
He's outside.
We're good. Get you out of line of fire quickly.
I saw him as we were gonna pledge. He's walking.
Yes,
Alderman Freeze.
Here.
Alderman Turner.
Here.
Alderman Bill.
Absent.
Alderman Lewis.
Here.
Alderman Dean.
Present.
Can I get a motion for approval of May 7th, 2026 meeting minutes, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Can I get a motion for approval of the tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Special items, I see none. Appointments to boards and commissions. Appointment to Alderman Ward 1. At this time, we do not have an appointment, and we'll carry that on. Moving on to appointments of interim city administrator, Steve Rassman.
Okay,
Staff
present.
report- Staff report, please.
As we've discussed, a few of you were able to meet with Steve last week. We conducted a nice interview with some of the department heads, as well as Alderman Freese and Lewis, and Marslinker was there as well. Steve has been here. He was here most of the day on Monday, was here all day today. He'll be here all day tomorrow. We're getting him up to speed as quickly as we can. I'll turn it over to Steve if he wants to give a little bit about his resume for those that would like to know a little bit more about him.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and I've had a chance at least to shake hands with everybody but Steve, and I'll catch you maybe after the meeting for a second. Just as a quick resume, I spent 30 years in the Army. I retired as a full colonel and base commander at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where the 101st Airborne is. I was an airborne ranger and served in the 82nd Airborne and the 101st Airborne, and 3 tours in Vietnam. Fortunately, not a scratch on me, but then I've taken my daughter to college and she wrecked the car and nearly had my foot cut off. So, you know, you never know how that works. And then I've been, since then, I've been 25 years in city management. I've been in 8 different cities, among those recently, Jefferson City. And then I was in Cameron, and then I have done 3 interims for Interim Solutions. I was at the city of Fairview Heights, Illinois, just the other side of St. Louis. And then most recently, I was down 6 months down in the Boot Heel at the city of Cameron. And that's 6 miles from the Arkansas border, so it's almost not in Missouri anymore. And that's an interesting part of the country, and I learned a lot there. And so I come to you and I give you the benefit of that experience so that we can help move the city forward. And what we will try to do is make those recommendations that are in the best long-term interest of the city. As I've told the staff, we will make the best technical recommendation we make, and then you make the political decisions. And once you make those decisions, then we will carry them through just as if they were our own. And while I'm doing this, Interim Solutions, I'll be looking for a permanent city administrator, and I will stay as long or short as you need to. And simultaneously, we'll be working with Jeff Hancock and the other members of Interim Solutions. So some of my time I will be spent also helping him do that. So I'll be working with the city and with that process. And I'll try to meet with each of you here one-on-one in the next week or 2. And I'm available now to answer any questions you might have. But I'll tell you, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a wonderful city you've got. And by the way, in the last couple of days that I've been going around here with Kyle and in the cities that I've been in, this in the top cities. People may say, well, we have problems here and stuff. When I look at it, you're in the top tier of those. 8 cities, you know, I'd put you in the top quarter of that for sure. Cities have advantages and disadvantages, but you've got a great staff and a good city, and things are looking very good, and I look forward to helping you with it. So I'm available for any questions you might have now or later.
Did you say Campbell?
Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Yeah.
Not in the Boot Hill, or was
That was Kennett.
Kennett? All right.
Kennett. Well, and they pronounce it Kennett. Down in the Boot Hill, they have every swear word has 2 syllables in it, and every sentence has a a grammatical error in it. So I asked the street superintendent, I said, did you get those potholes filled on Fifth Street? He said, why ain't the damn shit. That's the way, that's no. So I learned a lot down there.
I'm from the Boot Hill.
Well, you know that language. Yeah.
All right, no questions for Steve. Can I get a motion to appoint Steve Rassman as an interim city administrator?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Scheduled public comments, we have none. Just a reminder, all public comments may be into the city clerk by Wednesday before the meeting. Public hearing, we have none. Moving on, introductions and first readings. Council Bill number 2026-21, an ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Building Codes, Construction, and Property Maintenance of City Code. Staff report, please.
As part of the annual review of our building permit fee structure and support of the fiscal year 27 budget, we determined that the residential permit fee multiplier needs to go from 0.003, which is 0.3%, to 0.32% in order to support the community development department budget and more closely reflect current local market valuations. This makes the average permit cost for calendar year 2025, from calendar year 2025, increase from $1,295 or $1,295 to $1,411. This modification also includes the automatic adjustment of the ICC valuation. The proposal from the preliminary budget was for a multiplier of 0.0034. However, since then, the February 2026 ICC valuation table has become available, and with the associated increase from the table, we decided to lower the multiplier down to 0.0032 to satisfy the Community Development Department's budgetary requirements. In previous years, this adjustment has taken place on May 1st. However, this year it will take effect on June 1st of 2026. Its recommendation to the board to approve the permit fee multiplier adjustment for fiscal year 27.
Any questions for staff on this multiplier? Okay, can I get a motion to approve Council Bill number 2026-21, an ordinance to amend Chapter 10, Building, Construction, and Property Maintenance of the City Code?
So
Can I get a second?
second.
Alderman Freeze? Alderman Freeze?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Council Bill number 2026-22, an ordinance to rezone 514 Redbud Lane. Staff report, please.
This is a request by the applicant Simon & Strumpf Engineering on behalf of the property owners for a zoning map amendment for 514 and 600 Redbud Lane from R2 two-family residential to CG general commercial. The subject parcels are approximately 0.5 acres combined. These parcels are on the southeast end of Redbud Lane. Again, the current zoning is R2 two-family. Proposed zoning is CG general commercial. Though the
Can I jump in for just a second?
Absolutely.
Did we have an actual reading on -21? Or did I just miss it?
Reading in its entirety.
No, well, I'm sure by title only. We had a vote.
He introduced it by title. Yes.
Sorry.
It was just for one of those addresses too. But-
No, he was not. He was not referring to you.
He's talking about the other one.
Oh. All right. Though the 2020 future land use map shows these two parcels remaining R2, the proposed rezoning aligns with the long-term growth goals of Ashland by promoting infill redevelopment along establishment corridors. The proposed CG use is intended for franchise restaurant. The original proposed concept showed site access off of Red Bud Lane. Due to complaints from the neighboring owners, the access may be removed as long as the site can accommodate emergency services with singular access, and it's my understanding from the engineer that that is possible. So subject properties sit in a transitional zone where residential uses meet existing commercial activity. Its proximity to East Broadway and US 63 makes it a logical extension of the city's commercial corridor. Concentrating development by utilizing underperforming residential lots for high-value commercial use. While currently zoned R2, the surrounding area is already characterized by a diverse mix of uses. The site is already serviced by municipal services. Commercial development will provide the necessary private investment to improve site drainage and curb appeal, which are often stagnant under R2 designations in commercial adjacent areas. As part of the development process, a traffic study will be required, ensuring that site access, parking, and traffic flow meet all the city of Ashland standards to prevent congestion on residential side streets. Transitioning these two parcels to CG provide several measurable advantages to the city of Ashland, unlike residential R2 uses. Franchise restaurant guarantees recurring sales tax revenue to support city services and infrastructure. A new dining option enhances the quality of life for Ashland residents and could draw commuters passing through who might otherwise spend dining dollars in Columbia or Jeff City. Staff recommends approval of this rezoning. The rezoning of 514 and 600 Red Bud Lane from R2 to CG represents a responsible and forward-thinking use of the lands. It transforms two small residential tracts into productive asset that supports Ashland's economic task base while remaining compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. Though the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend, there were 2 dissenting votes. This was due to the concerns from Red Bud Lane residents about potential noise pollution from the drive-up speaker facing Red Bud. The engineer for the project is open to solutions. One potential solution by Alderman Freeze was to install a portico share, not to be confused with portico, otherwise known as a drive-through shed.
Any questions for staff?
Yeah, the 2 lots to the east, when I drove by there, it looked like there was no door on the trailer and a big hole in the smaller. Are those occupied, livable at this point? They're the same owner as the 600 property, correct?
They were the same owner. It's now been acquired and owned by.
Okay.
the
But it was
person.
previously, all 3 of those lots were owned by the same person?
Correct.
And are
correct.
those 2 lots livable as they sit now?
It's my understanding those trailers are gonna be removed.
Okay.
What about the one across the street with like the blue tarp over it? Is that owned by the same owner as well?
I'm talking on the north side of the street?
Yeah.
No, that's a different owner.
You talking the red last house on the end?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve Council Bill number 2026-22, an ordinance to rezone 514 Red Bud Lane?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
And Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Council Bill number 2026-23, an ordinance to rezone 600 Red Bud Lane. Now, I know you read all that for.
Yeah.
It's all in conjunction in the same place.
It's all in the same place, yes.
So any other questions on 600?
Much as I like to hear Darren talk, we don't have to do that again.
Thank you.
So can I get a motion approving ordinance number, Council Bill number 2026-23, an ordinance to rezone 600 Red Bud?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Council Bill number 2624, an ordinance to rezone 613 North Henry Clay Boulevard. Staff report, please.
All right, this is a request by the applicant, Simon and Strump Engineering, again, on behalf of the property owner, Centralia Investment Group LLC, for the rezoning of approximately 7.86 acres at the north end of Henry Clay Boulevard. Current zoning is CG General Commercial. Proposed zoning classification will be IL Light Industrial. So the 2020 comprehensive plan anticipated this property to be CG General Commercial. In 2016, these two parcels were approved to be rezoned from IL to CG from the previous owner. The intent for these two parcels, since being purchased by the current owner, was to be used as a self-storage facility. Recently, it was noticed that the gravel was being added at the north end of the existing concrete drive aisles, previously used as a staging area for building materials for all the storage units to go in. It now sat empty. After a discussion with the owner, it became clear the owner desired to use the gravel for temporary outdoor storage. There is a requirement in code to provide screening of outdoor storage areas that are street facing. The owner was made aware of this requirement and is willing to comply. It is always preferred, when possible, to have a parcel zoned correctly for its intended purpose. With the current zoning CG, the only way to have a gravel backlot would be to apply for a variance. Applying for a variance can be a time-consuming process, and as previously mentioned, a variance is asking to use a property in a way not intended by the city code. With IL zoning, the owner would have the flexibility to use the back of the property for temporary gravel storage. Future phases would include removing the gravel parking and building additional storage buildings. Staff is supportive of this rezoning, as this request meets the intended use of the property. Because the surrounding parcels are already zoned IL, the transition does not introduce a conflicting land use to that area. There was some discussion regarding the continuing stormwater issues and continual runoff. Apparently, the contractor responsible for the stormwater made an error with the detention outlet sizing. A correction is in progress and should be completed in the next few weeks. This was unanimously recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission at the May 12th meeting.
So I guess my only question is on the stormwater runoff thing. I think we had a few constituents come in and complain about the issues, and kind of, I think what was presented to the board was that everything was up to snuff and it had been built properly and to the above even what the city code is. So what happened there with the difference in?
So it's my understanding, after speaking with the contractor and the engineer, that there was supposed to be a 20-inch diameter hole, which is the inlet from the basin, taking the water out off the site and then flowing it downstream. But what they put in wasn't a 20-inch diameter, it was a 20 by 20 square hole, which for the mathematicians in here is a little bigger than the diameter. So they are getting a steel plate made to shrink that orifice down. So I guess somebody that built the concrete box just read 20 inch, made a square.
Made it square.
So did someone from the city, I guess, sign off on that when they finished the stormwater detention?
So we don't necessarily check the structures to the plans because they're pre-designed and engineered as well. Something we could start doing in the future. But it's just one of those things that got through. Now, I'm not saying it will drastically reduce the amount of water coming off the site per design, but
Yeah, it doesn't
it
sound
will.
like
No,
that's
it's
where
not
it's
drastic.
just got the corners that wouldn't make a difference there, but
Do we have any videos that shows the water coming down up there and then all the way down? It seems like a pretty large distance for the water to traverse.
Well, it is, so this site basically sits at the top of the hill. And north of that is the Bullard Farm, and that's where it kind of levels out. So all of this water was sheet flowing down for years. And so the point of the detention is to detain any water that, that is created by impervious surface to release it at the same rate that it was sheet flowing down. But it's also my understanding that it's always been a drainage issue through there. And I've talked to the owner at the end of Sunshine Drive, and they said it's always been that way.
Any other questions? He's planning on building more storage units, not building,
Yes.
and that water will flow the other way.
No, that whole site
Will come this way.
drains south. Yeah.
So we already got an issue now. And we're gonna compound this issue by putting more.
Well, all of it drains into that same detention. So the detention was the design for the whole site.
Yeah, but right now, you got grass there soaking up some water.
Correct.
You're gonna put asphalt there,
Correct.
but that water's gonna go.
It'll still go to the same detention, and the principle is that you take a bunch of water, shrink it down to a small hole, so it only releases a little bit at a time. So all that will go into the detention first before it's released out.
So should we look at reducing the size of that hole more than 20 inches?
Guys, we're getting a little off topic on the rezone. So, I mean, he's gonna have to come forward with a site plan for those future phases, at which point he'll have to redo his calcs, make sure he's still meeting his calcs, and come forward with a proposal if he needs to amend or add more stormwater improvements. What's before you right now is the rezoning. If you'd like to have Christina come back again to have some board discussion around stormwater up there, we're happy to get that scheduled, but
Yeah,
purpose of the
I think
rezone.
that we are off topic, but I also think that it's worth noting that we had an engineer in here telling us it was okay, and we had residents saying that it wasn't okay, and now we're saying that, oh, the residents are right, so it kind of makes us look like we weren't listening to the residents.
the majority of the water that flows through some of these problematic areas, it's coming across the cemetery or the funeral home property. It's not coming necessarily from the storage facilities. Storage facility runs to the west before it comes down. It's certainly still ending up at the same direction, but a lot of the sheet flow is coming through adjacent properties. There's an issue there. As we've discussed in the past, there's no easements and or city infrastructure there, public infrastructure. So that's a whole multi-hour discussion if we want to get into that and explore possible involvement of the city and resources and solutions.
It's gotten a lot worse. I got videos.
Corey? No comments? Alright, so back to the rezoning. Can I get a motion to approve Council Bill number 2026-24, an ordinance to rezone 613 North Henry Clay Boulevard?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Saying,
Alderman Turner?
aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Bill? Aye. Alderman Dean? Aye. Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Old business, ordinance number 1557, ordinance amending chapter 12, businesses, occupations, and professions. Staff report, please.
So we have second read of our business license amendment from last meeting. Again, this just adds some clarifying language with regards to temporary business licenses as they relate to special events occurring primarily in the park, and refers it back to the park regulations. While we're not obviously taking action on the park regulations tonight, we have sent your guys' comments and feedback to the park board, as well as some potential draft changes for them to work on prior to coming back to you guys next month.
Any questions for staff? All right, can I get a motion to approve ordinance number 1557, ordinance amending chapter 12, businesses, occupations, and professions?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Bill, Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
And Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Ordinance number 1558, an ordinance to amend chapter 10, building, constructions, and property maintenance of the city code. Staff report, please.
This is just the second read for the multiplier update.
Gotcha. I give a motion approving ordinance number 1558, an ordinance to amend chapter 10, building, constructions, and property maintenance of the city code.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
Alderman Dean.
Aye.
Alderman Lewis.
Aye.
Alderman Freeze.
Aye.
Alderman Turner.
Aye.
Alderman Wheeler.
Aye.
New business, resolution 2026-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement to provide law enforcement off-duty services with the Calvin's Rodeo Police Parade.
Good evening,
Or
board
rodeo
members.
day.
This is the same contract we done the last 2 years, I believe, with the rodeo. It's a provision for the rodeo to reimburse the city for additional police presence during the rodeo. It's worked out really well. They've submitted it, requested we repeat it again this year, just like we did last year. So, recommend approval.
Sounds good. Any questions for Chief?
So one question for you, Chief. I know last year, I think was the first year they did assigned seating.
Mhm.
Did you see any difference in like, I mean, I think it's a pretty peaceful event generally anyway, but did that make any difference in crowd control for you guys? or-
Absolutely, it was substantially better, yeah. So it was a much safer event. Again, we've been fortunate since I've been here, there's not been any serious incidents anyway. But it's absolutely a safer event. I think by design, the numbers were down a little bit, the attendance was down. But the people that were there were actually watching the rodeo. And so, it was safer to move around, would have been an easier, evacuation had we had something, and yeah. And I think that was by design on the rodeo committee's part. And I believe it accomplished all the things they were trying to accomplish with both the way they did tickets and, the seating, yeah.
Cool. I think this year they're adding TVs.
That's right. I paid for one.
They're adding TVs to the rodeo, boys.
There you go.
Watch it, instant replay.
Yeah, I like it.
Watch that cowboy get kicked off twice.
You wearing the hat?
Oh, yeah.
You have to, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, can I get a motion to approve resolution number 2026-23, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement to provide law enforcement off-duty services with the Calvin Rodeo Day.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 2026-24, a resolution authorizing the purchase of sidearms for the police department.
This is, I got all the info there in your packet. This is, money's was approved in our capital expense budget for this fiscal year. There's, based on the way, the manufacturer does the pricing for law enforcement agencies, there's only two sources that we can get law enforcement pricing through. I've obtained pricing from both of them, and the actual weapon price is the same, because that's a factory established number. But Keesler's Police Supply had cheaper prices on the accessories, meaning the lights and the holsters. And so they will be taking our current pistols in on trade-in, and I believe the total cost to the city was $14,010, what we're looking at. And so that's that.
All right. Any questions for Chief on guns?
So on the firearms, are there rules on like you have to sell them back to like a police authorized retailer or whatever? Because it seems like they're not giving you guys like a ton of money for the guns you're trading in.
Well, right now, the market for used police Glocks it's number one, it's always been cheap. And because you just don't know what you're getting with those, some of them are very, very high usage guns in terms of rounds fired. Some of them are low, they've all been carried a bunch, right? And right now, with the entire LE world and the civilian world going to optic equipped pistols, regular iron sight pistols, prices are just way down. So that's actually not a terrible price. And from just a legality standpoint, it's just so much easier and cleaner for us to just trade them into a licensed dealer, which they are. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve a resolution number 2026-24, a resolution authorizing the purchase of sidearms for the police department.
So moved.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to discussion of Kingfisher speeding issues, possible action. Staff report, please.
You have a memo in your packet that kind of outlines the history of the issue, as well as staff's thoughts, opinions, recommendations. We started getting some discussion around this at our last meeting, which is why it's on the agenda for tonight, so that we actually have it on the agenda for discussion and possible action. At this point, staff needs guidance from the board of what you'd like to see on Kingfisher. If anything, we have a variety of options that we've proposed. It's ultimately up to you guys to let us know what you'd like accomplished out there.
I think the big thing is just we gotta figure out a way to slow down traffic. I haven't looked, I mean, I looked at, was it Main Street, Henry Clay, they got those, the yellow ones there. I mean, they're not a total eyesore by any means. What do you think our chances of getting talked bad about on Facebook about when we stick these poles up in the center of the street are?
We have a wonderful group of neighbors that probably won't say too much bad. I do know that I was very appreciative this morning when I went to work to see one of our finest sitting at Peterson, just right facing the highway. I still think that's the absolute best way to get people to slow down if they know there's a decent chance they're gonna see the policeman on Peterson or Kingfisher, anywhere there's a straight, especially Peterson. I think that goes a long way. What's gonna satisfy, I'm not sure much will, because like Kevin said last time, and what you said as well, stop signs are not generally used anymore to slow people down. The radar has good and bad. As soon as you take it away, I've seen plenty of memes out there that show high score under the radars. Police is smiling. I'm sure you've seen that before. So I'm not sure there's a perfect way, but I do know that I observe people slowing down, slamming their brakes when they see a police officer sitting somewhere on any of the streets. I don't know if we've noticed any difference in Liberty over the last decade with that second stop sign going in at Middleton. I do know I see a lot of trucks go down Peterson to go to Liberty North, coming off the highway, because they don't want to go through the Liberty and stop at those both stop signs. So, but yeah, just one of many locations I know we have problems with people speeding.
Yeah, I think I think increased police presence on Peterson and Kingfisher, I think would be helpful. I also think that, if we wanted to put they'd be white barriers, right?
Pretty sure you can pick whatever color you want, but
Wider. It'd be white.
they'd have to be white because they're in the center line, correct? And
The delineators?
I mean, I feel like we gotta do something to show that, hey, like, you brought us a problem, here's a solution to that problem. I want the record to state, I think a stop sign is the best idea, because I know they say that it doesn't slow down traffic, but I mean, my thought process behind here is I would rather see someone rolling through a stop sign at 10 miles an hour than going through there with no stop sign at 40. That's my thought, but what do I know? I'm just a farmer.
So with the cost of the delineators, could we look at the HOA and see if we can have that developer pay for it?
We do have it, legally we have an HOA, the fees are only about $100 a year. I've been there 8 years and I think I only paid 1 year for it. I think the majority of people there paid very little. So it's not a very well functioning HOA. Keith has been pretty relaxed on that. The only thing that's been important is design stuff. Make sure that in most of those, sometimes the 2 trees in the front yard gets missed.
They cut down a tree that was gonna fall on my house. HOA paid for it. Appreciate your 1 year dues.
You're welcome.
Sounds like if you catch up on your dues, we can afford the.
I know, yeah.
I was gonna say that the house that we built out there, the 2 years we were there, we had to pay our dues each year in order to close on it when we sold it.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll catch up with you
Yeah.
possibly.
I'll die
if you
there
ever-
so my kids.
If
can
you
deal
ever
with
sell.
that. My kids can deal with that when I die.
You guys need to pay your dues so we can stop like that.
But yeah, with the number of houses that they have out there, that should be a pretty hefty little HOA balance since
I
they're.
don't think you realize how much that tree costs to cut down.
Yeah. $100 is a really, really small amount as well.
So the delineators
So,
are fairly cheap. If the board is in agreement that that's suitable, step one.
Your phone number changing when you get your new job?
Personally, I think it's a waste of money. We haven't had good luck with those
Yeah.
anywhere else in town.
Yeah,
True.
You know, they're up for a month, they start getting knocked down, then they look like crap and they're in the way and.
I'm definitely gonna have a sprayer run at least one of them over.
So I think we'd just be wasting our money with that.
I-
I do think that, increased patrolling, like you said, you know, is the best deterrent.
My wife can attest to the increase that has been happening.
Yeah,
That's why I took a new job. His wife got run in with the law.
We had an issue a few years back at the roundabouts where people started running that roundabout to right by the McDonald's at the highway. Just plow through it. And then the police started focusing heavily on it. I saw several people get pulled over there. I don't see that issue anymore. So I'm a big fan of increase, at least short term, having an increase in police presence there, even if it's one that sits for sometimes, if they think somebody's gonna be there. In parking an empty patrol car or something, but I think it goes a long way, so.
word spreads pretty fast.
Yep.
You
Small
know,
town.
it hasn't been too many years ago that we were having the very same issues with, what, Martha Crump?
Mhm.
That area. You know, it's like,
How much does a stop sign cost, Carl?
The cost of the stop sign is not the issue. It's the legality of said
Yeah,
stop
I
sign.
think we take somebody to court. That's the problem.
So it's a pretend stop sign. We put it there.
So hear me out. How would you know the difference between a real one and a fake one?
I think the only issue is that the word is out, that's a fake one.
So as
Yeah, 'cause
Steve
now
said
we told
earlier, we
everyone
give
that
you the
it's fake.
technical, you make the political decision. You want a stop sign
The
out there,
one
that's on
person
you.
that watched these meetings is now on the board.
Don't forget, are we on right now?
We are
I
on.
forgot to check.
You can't put up fake stop signs.
They have before.
I mean, I can call Dick right, I can do it on one, I guess. The city might have to come take it down.
Who owns the corner lot?
It's for sale.
Toss it on.
All right, so
I think when
are you suggesting delineators or?
I'm not hearing much of a suggestion. I mean, if you still want to explore, we can certainly do the warrant study for stop sign. It's
Can
gonna
we
come
get
back.
the chief to say whether or not he could add much more patrol there in that area,
That's a very good point.
or does he not have it? I know that.
Well, anytime we get a complaint like that, I always put an email out and ask people to, put the attention there that they can. Keep in mind that at any given point in time, there's 2 patrol cars rolling around out there, 1 or 2, most of the time. And, so anytime, another way to say extra patrol means less patrol somewhere else. And so that's the fact of the matter is. And, but I think we do try to move around and the next question is how many hours do we want a patrol car sitting somewhere when there's maybe another place that, where we have had accidents, we have had people hurt, that kind of thing. And so, like I said, we do, and I appreciate you noticing someone was there today. But I always pass on traffic concerns, to the folks. And when I'm out and about, I try to go through a little bit more often also. But the reality is you're talking about hours and hours of a patrol car presence to write a ticket maybe. And again, ultimately the ticket's not the goal. The goal is to slow down traffic. That's the mission. And so, but like I say, anytime then, there's only so much we can do with, 7 full-time police officers.
I know speed bumps have gotten negative feedback in the past, but we're at the start of summer and there won't be snow for quite a while, so. Speed bump might not be a bad idea. They get the idea that there's a speed bump there, and then by the time winter comes around, we can get one of those temporary ones and pull it back up. And then hopefully I can get one on Oak Street too, because I continue to get complaints on Oak Street, and I know that I'm off topic, but speed bump for speed bump here.
I hate speed bumps, but I mean, if it makes sense, it makes sense. I'm just throwing it out. I agree with you. Plus, I think the other thing too is, do we know peak time for when we're having issues there? Like, is it 3 to 5?
Kids getting out of school.
Kids get out of school, so maybe that isn't a bad time. I mean, just to your point, I don't think we need somebody here all the time, or, if we know kind of peak time, maybe we can tell someone over there once in a while. Appreciate you covering it. That's great.
I'm having an issue here. We can't put a stop sign up because of legality. We don't wanna waste money on these things that are just gonna get ran over. We don't wanna put speed bump up because of snow plows. Like, how do we slow down traffic in our town? if
We're
we can't do
proposing
anything?
temporary ones because they're cheap. You can do permanent.
But you see the problem here, like, you just said we haven't recommended anything. Well, everything we recommended, well, that's a bad idea. I'm like, okay, well, then recommend something that's a good
I
idea.
think roads and
I'm not saying anything.
I think it's temporary speed bumps, yeah.
I think, yeah, put in temporary speed bump, the ones they can take out for the winter, lift them up when the plows are ready to come through.
I like that better than a permit. It's not available.
Yeah,
It's a personal thing.
the permit ones also, I mean, they just start to crumble when people run over them too fast. And
Yeah, no.
what's a temporary speed bump cost, Cal?
Probably less than $3,000 a piece, I'd imagine.
Winter chicken dinner.
So let's do.
Okay, the question is, what roads do you want? You want them on both intersections or just? I'm only aware of concern at Eagle Pex. Is it Natchez too?
I mean, I've only got complaints at Eagle Pass.
We're gonna focus there. We'll start with one.
Well, you have to also mark the street.
Yeah.
You can't just,
How far away does that have to be again? I forgot what Kevin said.
The offset is pretty substantial to get you the lead time. I don't know the technical particulars, but that should be within something that I can approve the purchase without it coming back. So we'll just have Kevin get on it tomorrow, get them ordered.
Thanks, sir.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Can we put it on the agenda for next time to talk about Oak Street, or can we go ahead and agree to put a speed bump over there too?
When they're going down the hill, that's
We'll
gonna,
go going up the hill. Up the hill is where I want
it's
to
a
see.
hill on both sides.
I know, but when they're coming, well, so the problem is when they're coming off of the highway and then
They're
going
just
back.
racing
toward-
down.
Yeah, they're racing down, running the stop sign, and then coming, shooting back up the hill.
Yeah, they almost got hit car going the other way, going toward the Broadway.
Okay, well, whichever side we want to put them on, whether it's on
We're
the
gonna-
Phillips 66
We're
side.
putting a speed bump
Get a
on
speed
every
bump.
part of
You
this
get a
freaking
speed
town.
bump.
We're no longer gonna be the roundabout town. We're gonna be the speed bump town.
did you guys, and I haven't been here for a while, but when Stephanie was here, you guys invested in a speed,
That thing's dead. It's gone. We sold it.
Yeah.
The radar trailer. We bought
Yeah.
like a 25-year-old one and it died.
What about those, like, have you guys seen the new, like, liquid speed bumps, where it's like, if you drive over it at the right speed, it doesn't bump, and then if you hit it too fast, it, like, turns to concrete?
That sounds
That's
awesome.
That's what we need, like, right, because then people aren't annoyed because they hit a speed bump, but then when they speed up too much,
I think this sounds cool.
Let's talk about it too.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Talk about it Monday.
Tuesday.
All right. 2 weeks. All right, moving on to reports. Mayor's report, I want to thank whoever did it, but removing the dirt on Justin and Pacer in the middle of the road. It's gone. Thank you very much. I noticed that we're building a house in Liberty in Middleton.
Yes.
We just make sure he puts up slip fencing. But right now, he's got it all tore up and there's no slip fencing. And then also, thank you, Darren, for getting the lot mowed at the MU extension lot. That's really nice. Thank you, sir. Moving on to city administrator report.
I sent you out an email as the last reminder to possibly register for the ML elected official training on June 11th and 12th in Columbia. If you'd like to go and have the availability, please let us know and we will get you signed up. As it relates to Steve, we're setting him up on the ground floor and the old bank space, so he'll be in the mortgage office over there. A little bit more room for him to work there, a little more accessible to staff. He has his city email set up. I will email the board with that email so that you have it as well. He'll just be using the city admin at Ashland Mo. He'll just be using that while he's here. And that is all I have for my report.
Moving on to city attorney's report.
mostly legislative stuff. First of all, I wanted to tell you that I have another city that wants to revoke the business license of a cannabis club. I begged them not to do that. The legislature has passed new hemp laws. That's going to close the loophole that basically they were alleging existed in the one that we had. That is not going to kick in though until November. So my recommendation is that right before that kicks in, so we don't have to do it right now, but sometime in September, October, we adopt a new ordinance just outlawing all of that. Under the new laws, any percentage of marijuana, any percentage of THC, of any type of THC, makes it, you have to have a license to sell it. So that'll just wipe all of that out.
Does that include that kratom?
No, we do need an ordinance on kratom. There is no state law yet on kratom. The Attorney General has been taking some actions on kratom, but kratom is, it's a completely different substance. And I don't know if we've really talked about this. Kratom is this stuff they commonly refer to as gas station heroin. It is in fact more addictive than meth, and it's legal right now to buy and sell. In small doses, it has sort of a sedative effect, but in larger doses, it's psychotic. So the federal government hasn't really done anything, and we had hoped the state would step in on it. They haven't, but it's pretty easy just to ban that, and because there aren't any known uses for it. Just as kind of an aside, I think when the state law and the federal law kick in November, that probably you're going to see CBD largely disappear as well. Either that or the people who manufacture CBD products will have to, really step up their game because they're very sloppy. A lot of times CBD has a percentage of THC in it. What we like to call the gray machines, these
Slot machine?
slot machines that aren't slot machines, they've banned those, and I haven't really checked here yet, but I'm seeing in my cities all over the state that those are either being marked as we're not turned off and marked, or sometimes just turned around. The Torch, the manufacturer of them, has been coming in and picking them up. So it looks like that it's kind of a bad year for gas stations. There's obviously a bunch of legislation coming out. So for our next report, we will have a better analysis of the things that are out there that are affecting cities. And I think that's all that I have to report.
Thanks, sir. Police Chief Motley.
Thank you. Kind of the usual in the statistics report that is out again. One thing is probably beyond my scope and maybe even beyond the scope of the city in general, but one of the, just kind of on a bigger discussion level related to the kratom and stuff, is there's just going to be a continual series of new synthetics made of different sorts. There's already some stuff out there beyond kratom and so it's short of some sort of big 30,000 foot view down discussion and resolution is just going to be a constant new synthetic opioid, intoxicant, something of some sort. Every one of them will be new and completely legal until they're made illegal. And that's just going to be ongoing. So.
Can I jump in for a second? The problem is that in the old days, that was regulated at the federal levels. They would make those Schedule III drugs, and now they were illegal, and that was it. So we didn't have to list out, every single one. But the feds have kind of stopped doing that, really for 10 years maybe now. They've really just not been adding to that Schedule III list. So things come out, and then of course the drug manufacturers are extremely clever people, and they are constantly thinking of new ones that we hadn't thought of before.
They're getting better at chemistry,
Yeah.
and so they just come up with a new synthetic, and it doesn't fit the current laws, and that's just not going to stop. That's going to keep going, unless you can come up with a way to word a law that bans just everything you don't want. I don't know how to do that. So anyway, that's beyond our scope, though. We are still, right now I have 2 openings, and we've extended job officer to one applicant, just extended that, haven't heard back yet. So hopefully we'll have one hired soon, and already has a post license, be able to get him in training quickly. And we're hoping, and then we'll be on the look for another one. So it's a great place to be a police officer, great town. So keep spreading the word for us. Any questions? Did we answer your question on the traffic stops?
Yep.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
So hey, Alderman Freeze had a question on the traffic stop location. Those are where the stops happen, and not where the violation happened. right? Now, normally in town, those two distances are very short. On the highway, they can be spread out, but again, almost doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter if they're going 95 at Angel Lane or 95 at Liberty Lane, it's still kind of the same violation. And kind of related to that, I'll get complaints sometimes from people that want to know why there's a Ashland car with a car stopped at Deer Park or as far south as Mount Pleasant. Again, if you're sitting still and a car comes by at 95, it takes a while to catch up. And by the time you get there, you're well out of town. So that's why some of the traffic stops are out of town, violations in town. So. And the other thing, we continue to have a good relationship with the school system. They've got a great video system on their buses. We wrote another summons just this week on a stop arm violation. They've got a really nice system for catching those and transmitting them to us. And we go out Sunday and track people down and write tickets for running those school bus stop signs.
And I'll just add for the new board members, the chief here organized for me to do a ride along when I was a little bit newer on the board, and it was absolutely wonderful to see like how those guys, patrol city and just how well they do. So
that's it. Standing off.
Making new business for you, chief.
Absolutely. No, we're proud to show what we do. Absolutely.
Don't let you shoot the gun. I'm in.
Say the word, we'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
Thanks, sir. Community development.
The report's in your packet. I just want to add one thing, and that's I have an opening, the community development department has an opening for a part-time employee. So for those that hate me, maybe there'd be give people other options.
Any questions for Darren?
Yeah, so I looked at a year ago, looked like we had 29 residential permits at this point a year ago. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
Okay, so we're definitely much higher than a year ago at this point in time.
We are, but as I
Okay.
said, it's a
Right.
big up down. It depends on lots available, lots being developed.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned to this before. I count about maybe, well, I guess you told me that not all of behind you is actually
It's not all
legally
platted
platted
yet.
yet. Okay,
Yeah,
All I want is those trees going, brother.
I know.
trees,
I know.
trees gone.
They knocked down
The
those
one
trees in
that
the
sure.
backyard.
They knocked them down like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I came
Still
home and I
laying.
didn't have trees. I asked my wife, I said, we had trees here this morning, right?
Thank you.
Now they're just laying out in the creek.
You know where to go to complain. Right?
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Right down the road.
Thanks, sir. Treasurer report, please.
I got a couple of corrections to my report. We had hired a new utility billing clerk, however, that didn't work out, so we have posted that position again. The budget book is online, you'll be able to pull it up, and it's also been sent to the GFOA, we did that today. The annual audit is scheduled for June 9th, and then the Missouri Employers Mutual Insurance Audit is scheduled for June 18th. We do have an applicant for the police office, one of the police officer positions. I did offer him a position. As the chief said, he hasn't responded, and we don't have any other applicants at this time. We do still have two sewer utility worker positions available. We're doing interviews on Wednesday, the 27th. We're interviewing 3 potential candidates, so hopefully we'll get those filled. And then Darren and I are doing an interview tomorrow with a potential code enforcement candidate. Additionally, the SLWA flyers will be mailed out next month. And the only reason I bring that up is if you get questions about them, it's the same flyer that goes out every 3 months about purchasing utility insurance for your sewer and water issues. We do get a residual fee for that yearly. This year it was $1,400 based on anyone who signs up. It is actually a very good program. And if your homeowner's insurance does not cover sewer issues, this will, and they have somebody, they guarantee somebody out within 12 hours, so it really is a very good program, if you get questions, and that's my report.
Any questions for Treasurer?
So, sorry, this is kind of unrelated, but speaking of programs, we did that new program that was partnering with city staff to help you guys with, home loans, I think it was.
Yes.
How is that working out? Has anybody used the program yet? Have you guys seen like?
So nobody has used the program. When he came and spoke, the last time, and he wanted us to, do a 501c so he could do FHA loans. He also presented that to the city of Columbia. I'm waiting for the city of Columbia's attorney to review that there, as I am a real estate agent. And so there are some concerns with that, with the city, getting into a 501c, electing a board for that 501c, and then disseminating FHA loans. There is a lot of, conflict with that. So his proposal is with the city of Columbia attorney right now. They have not passed that either. As soon as that comes up on their agenda, I will be looking into that and then talking to our city attorney.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, move on to the Board of Aldermen report. Alderman Dean.
Not much to report. We set up a Facebook page for constituents to give us feedback. I am striving to be transparent with my constituents, to be able to get feedback from them, to relate to you guys and vice versa. So, outside of that, a lot of progress in Ward 1 in general with various houses going up and such. So, not any complaints yet. Still young on the job, so let's see how it goes.
Thanks. Alderman Turner.
Yeah, I got a couple things. The first being there across from the Dandelion, I sent Chief just some pictures a while ago. People parking there on, basically on the street, on Main Street, and then go walking across the street to the cafe or right there by Eagle Nutrition and everything. They're tearing up the road, and some people are concerned about that. Where are they supposed to park at, and can they legally park in the street there?
At present, they can park there. Public Works Director Kevin Crooks and I have talked a couple of times, and again, it's just a matter of getting things done. And I've talked to Kyle about having a no parking on that west side of the street there.
It just seemed from the pictures like it could potentially lead to problems if they're sticking out that far.
Absolutely. No, we get complaints on it, we're aware of it, but yeah, that's something that we just need to step up and get going on that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you've experienced, though, doing anything with the streets never as simple as we think it's gonna. Yeah, so.
Lord, do we know?
Yeah, we think this one should be a little bit easier in terms of, if I'm understanding it right, that quote unquote engineering part's already been done based on the width of the roadway. So we can get that taken care of.
Still requires an ordinance, but it should not require any additional engineering.
That'll be something we can bring to you guys as a suggestion and then, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is for the parking. I mean, they are a business, they're gonna have to have parking for customers. I understand that. I just don't think it should be right there at that heavily congested area.
You're not alone.
So.
Yeah.
We have offered them to park here and use our parking lot.
It's not a bad idea.
We've asked that they, especially for their weekend and evening events, use our parking lot.
We told them to do that.
Maximize the usage of parking spaces on Broadway.
I'm totally fine with that. I just wanna make sure that we don't have an accident there. So, I had a constituent reach out this week about behind our houses there on, Tuscaloosa, about the trees. Are there any updates on when they're gonna be planning on pulling that out?
So it's my understanding that mobilization is very expensive, and that's what they're waiting on to start the construction process. The construction drawings have been submitted. There are comments going back and forth at this point, so it should be within the next month.
They're saying they were supposed to have that done by the fall. That's what I was told, like have the streets in and everything by the fall.
It's possible.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I
think Emory Sapp and Sons is gonna do it.
Well, they're not very busy right now with I-70.
Well, if they wanna take on more work, that's what's part of it.
Last thing I got, just wanna take time to recognize, this is Kyle's last meeting as city administrator. I appreciate everything he's done for the city. I appreciate, him kind of getting me up to speed in the year that I've been on the board. I also appreciate that he also has a lower approval rating than me, so I'm glad that I top you there, but appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Alderman Freeze.
A couple things. One, I used the new code on our website. It's absolutely wonderful. Thank you for everyone who put it together. It's nice to put in a search term and it pulls up everything you need to know, and that's very, very wonderful. I appreciate that upgrade there. Second, I looked at this month's, in the last 3 to 4 months of the treasurer's reports. Thank you for putting that in there. There's the RoboCop / recycling lot camera thing. Is that like $1,100 a quarter? Did I get that right?
It's $1,100 a month.
A month, okay. I only saw 2 charges over, I didn't see it on the other one, so, okay, that's why I wanted to include $1,100. I was thinking $1,100 really is not too bad for a quarter, but obviously it's
So
a little different.
The plan there, I don't know, did I mention it when we were talking recycling? So we'll leave that camera there through the end of June and probably 2 weeks into June.
Could that be used over at the park bathrooms at all?
We actually have a different camera solution being
Yeah.
installed this week, so that's
Okay,
being
great.
addressed. Yes.
And that's all I got. And again, thank you for your work and thank you for being crazy fast and responding to us, email and such. I appreciate that. Same with you.
Alderman Lewis.
Same comments, we're gonna miss you, Kyle. I think you've done a great job. The only other thing that I had was, at the last meeting, Jim Fasciotti did, speak, concerning doing something to honor our former mayor, Gene Rohr. I did speak to him today, about, whether he would be offended if a waste treatment plant was named after him, and he kind of laughed, and he said he agreed that, he pretty much single-handedly got that started back in the day, and did tons and tons of work. He said he would be honored for that to happen if we so choose. So I'd like to see whatever we need to do to name the waste treatment plant after Gene Rohr. If we can put that on an upcoming agenda. That's all I got.
Thanks, sir. Alderman Hill.
Oak Street, I mentioned it while we were talking about, I continue to get complaints, and I want to try and help my constituents as much as possible. And then Kyle, thanks for coming here, and good luck in the next role.
Thank you.
Man, I feel bad. Don't you feel bad, Steve? We
Listen,
didn't say it, man.
but the thing is I've already told Kyle in private, right, Kyle? I feel like I've told him a few times.
He says thank you every email.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
We all do.
Did a great job in that short time of work.
All right, moving on, general comments from the public. Anybody from the public like to speak, please approach the podium, state your name,
Corey Myers,
address, please.
Harrisburg, Missouri. I'll just be quick. I've got 20-some citations that we went over last time. I wanted to know if y'all wanted to get rid of those, or if you want me to go to court for them.
What are all the citations for?
For the same property of moving a tenant in there without an occupancy permit that I couldn't get because of the sidewalk that I tried to get.
Was there an agreement made between the city and you on fixing the sidewalk within 14 days, and you
No.
were granted
No.
temporary occupancy?
No, I never signed anything. I wasn't there.
Did your wife?
I think she might have done something, but
I'd say let the judge handle it.
okay, all right. And then I've got well, you've taken my building permits away for, not being able to build. I've got a, contract for a restaurant, so just let me know if I'm not allowed to build on false accusations that Kyle drew up. There's about 90% of them are false, so however y'all wanna handle it.
Would you be willing to fix the sidewalk if we
No.
got rid of the
No, I will not.
citations?
Is that it, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll take a motion to go into closed session to discuss chapter 610-021, legal actions. Can I get a motion to go into closed session? Can I get a second? Alderman Dean?
Aye.
Alderman Freeze?
Aye.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Bill?
Aye.
Alderman Lewis? Aye. Lewis is good.
Seriously.
Yeah, I have them in groups, I'll just add you.
I didn't
Yeah.
find it in the store. It was just
Some,
on
just
the
the,
website.
liaison, I would usually just send it to them.
Yeah, I buy some up there.
Cause some of them don't want it, but yeah, I'll definitely add you.
All right, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Were you looking for old ones?
You get it?
Yes.
Who else did you get?
You getting hung up at Woody's. These are going to Woody's.
Oh, man. Not you.
All right.
All right, we're back in the open session, and at this time, we have nothing to report. I can motion to adjourn.
I enthusiastically move that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.